Oh my lord, look at that.
Cranio. It's exciting watching this stuff come to life because we're so used to just supplying the decals and then the client's doing the assembly. To come and actually help put it all together, it's a bit of a buzz actually.
You can do all of them if you want.
Yes.
Look at the next batch.
It's
We've got 100 coming.
Have you?
Yeah.
Good morning, good to see you again. Got your little package
Nice.
with all the decals in there to put onto your units.
Yeah, sweet, come in.
All the bits and pieces that are going to transform that from a black box into a very well branded unit.
Yes.
Have you got a little bit of alcohol? It doesn't need a lot, it's just to clear that residue off. We want to really give any surface a wipe, whether it's an anodised aluminium, a steel or a plastic. The plastics in particular, because there can be release agents and things like that through the moulding process that we just need to strip off. Now the actual laying down process, right, I'm going to do a tentative one first just to size it. So I'm having a couple of looks first before I actually put any pressure down, making sure I've got a nice straight edge across the top.
Yep.
Okay, and a nice straight edge down the bottom. And once I know that I can get an L, right, I can trust that the rest of it's actually going to lay itself down flat.
Yep. So these are the ones that will degas for over a day or so. We don't need to worry about that.
No, so the adhesive is a solvent-based adhesive. It goes on effectively wet.
Yep.
And then over 24 hours, it will actually gas off.
Yep.
And then dry, and that's where it gets that really strong bond.
Okay.
You'll typically get 1 or 2 chances the first time you lay it down. If you put it down, you want to pop it back off because if you haven't got it quite on alignment. The idea is that first lay that you put down, you don't put a lot of pressure down. Okay, you don't want to go down and then rub it through.
Yep.
Because what can happen is you can end up with adhesive residue staying on the actual decal.
Yep.
So you pop it on nice and light first. Make sure that you're happy with it, because if you do want to pop it off, then it can pop off. But once you're happy with it, then then you're going to give it a good strong rub, just to make sure that it's going to stay down, and then that's it.
So this one's got the windows in it.
Yes, this one's got the windows, and it's also got the hole. What I'm going to do this time is I'm actually going to focus on this bottom line down here. Right, get that as square as I can, and line up that dot there. Yep, there we go. Happy with that, and it's going to come down.
Oh, that looks
And
beautiful.
then you go through from there.
They're really thick, eh?
0.25 of a millimetre.
It feels thick, like it feels...
Yeah, it's nice rigid material.
Feels like quality.
Yeah, this particular polycarbonate, it's called 8A35 polycarbonate, and that velvet texture that's on the surface, that stops marks, fingerprints, smudges and things like that. That's a typical industry feature of the polycarbs. They want to have some sort of texture on it rather than glossy, because glossy scratches really easily. And this being a gloss velvet, the underside of it is gloss, and that's where you're getting this reflectiveness.
Oh, it's looking good. First top hat. This has got all the communications under the sun and Wi-Fi, cellular, Bluetooth, long-range RF, and it's got a really fast microprocessor that basically allows us to do the edge computing control. So it becomes the master of this stacked system. So
Okay.
so good with the coloured buttons and flaps.
Yes.
So can you take us through the windowing here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what we've got here, so this is a particular printing process. We call it a trans white.
Yep.
It's deliberately printed to allow light through. Once we actually go through there, you'll see the light when those LEDs turn on or off.
Yep.
They're going to come through from there.
We've put these seals in because we found before with some of our previous Chinese ones that we made, we didn't have these seals behind, and actually the ingress protection coming in was fine, but when the thing heated up, it actually blew them off. It actually tried to bulge them out from the heat inside. Okay. Because we're trying to run these things in the sun or whatever. So we actually had to put these LED seals and diffusers in. Yes. But that pocket basically encapsulates the light.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it creates a light pipe.
So this is a 3D printed prototype of the shield. Okay. So to stop people touching things. That QR code is different to the one on the front. The one on the front is the ID, and this one's just the how-to. Look at this, it's starting to look like a real one. Looks like the renders. That really makes it look a lot cleaner.
It's that branding piece for you. Yeah. It's the quality piece. It's a communication piece. It's a call to action, letting them know where the lights are going to be or where the QR codes are going to be, etc., etc. What we find is that the good manufacturers out there actually generally care about that branding piece because it creates a trust.
I can't believe how well it looks. Going from raw components in Taiwan and in America to finished product. I've never done it with my own stuff.
How does it make you feel?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, this is an idea in my head, or a frustration in my head for 10 years. We were using data loggers since 2010 to try and get real world data from off-the-shelf sensors. Each one of those data loggers at the time was like 20 grand. And then you put it in a customer's truck or whatever, get some wicked data off it, you use it in your simulation. And then the customer would always say, hey, can we just leave that in the truck, or can we roll that out to 6 trucks or whatever, so we've got this data? And we go, well, yeah, so I need to build you one each time, install it. Then someone's got to go every day, and this is back in 2010, but it's still very similar now, right? Go up there, put a USB, download to the laptop, go through the data, figure out what the data's saying. It's too hard, right? And so I've done everything from using Arduinos and Raspberry Pis. They all have the same issues. You've got to install it, you've got to then program it, you've then got to make sense of it. You've got to have multiple engineers doing it. So the idea with this is literally you buy the different modules that you want. This is the analog digital I/O module. You get your sensor and actuator, you use your little grommets and your cable clamps, you bring it through, you terminate it, you put some power on it, you close it up, and it's done. Then it sends information to you. The hard part is actually having actionable information. The data that comes through has to be easily accessible. It's got to be web-based. All the things that we were doing in code before, we're now doing in a graphical UI. Just giving power to people who are really smart, but they don't have the time to be able to go and do the coding. This thing eliminates all of the having to set up a Jiffy box or a cabinet or bespoke sort of things, specific wiring. We're gonna have tutorials to do that sort of stuff. Then you deploy it, and then you get data, and then you just keep iterating on it, and you build on it as well. So I've seen many people do it in different ways, but this is the way that I feel is going to get out to the most people as easily and cost effectively as possible. So the Pro-IO is trying to satisfy our rugged resources market here. The thing can be mounted to the underside of a solar panel. We can be put out in the desert or oil and gas environment, and we can get really interesting information, and we can do actuation. The data coming through is really, really high speed, high precision, but there's nothing stopping us downgrading that to a cheap circuit board or a circuit board in a plastic casing that might cost someone 199 bucks. And then they can easily get into the platform and start using it for actionable outputs in their factory or whatever.
It's fantastic. This is one of the joys that I get with what we do, because we're dealing with hundreds of customers each year. A lot of them are big companies, others are much smaller Australian-based manufacturers that are just so creative, coming up with really, really interesting concepts and designs. And like you said, you've created this from absolute scratch. It's something that's your baby. It's something you can actually be really, really proud of. That that you can change industry with. And that's exceptional. I think it's fantastic.
All WA manufacturing.
All WA manufacturing.
Except for the circuit boards. Looks like a real one now. It's not getting taken from the front office.